Hello, this is Hooked by Happenstance, and I'm Kendra. And right now, I am in the middle of a long process of going through my yarn stash, purging things that I don't choose to use. Basically, I'm going through all the boxes of my yarn stash and pulling out the things that are just not my taste, they're just not being utilized, that can go to better homes. Now, let me mention that I do not know what those homes will be yet. I've been getting lots of comments, joking and otherwise, about people who would like this yarn. Well, I have not quite decided what's going to happen with it. I'm going to be multiple weeks before I am even done with this whole sorting thing. And at the end of that, I will make a video where I decide what I'm going to do with it. For right now, it's going in this tote and probably at some point another vessel. But for right now, it's all hanging out in here. And it might be going, or some portion of it might be going to our 4-H club to do things with, or people I know locally. I might sell it. I don't know. I know there are people interested. We'll talk about that at a later date. But now we're going to go through some more boxes of my stash and see what's in there and make some choices. The lighting is a little different. I'm doing this at night. Dishwasher's running. Kids are hopefully sleeping. I have not had a good time to do it this week, and I've been trying to find that time, and I've decided that time is now at 12:06 in the morning. That's the right time. So here is currently what the tote of yarn that is leaving my life looks like. And this is from boxes 1 through 8. If you are unfamiliar, my yarn stash is all numbered. I store the majority of it in these banker boxes, which my husband got from his work. They were going to throw them away, and so they're like the big drawer kind, and I have all my yarn in them, which you'll see in a minute when I pull one out. So I've gone through them numerically, 1 through 8. Now, my yarn is not numbered in an order that makes a lot of sense. It is randomly numbered because that is part of another series here at Hooked by Happenstance called Let Peach Let Pick, where I don't want to know what's in the boxes when I pick a number until I open the drawer. But we are now going through them in that order, so it's always a little bit of a surprise what's going to come up next. So on to box number 9. Oh, well, box number 9 is a nice easy one. This box is actually all the yarn for, and apparently some dog fur, because I had a couple of these skeins out the other day. So I have 2 nephews that are graduating this June. They're actually graduating on the same day. And for my niece and nephews, I've been making each one of them a high school graduation Afghan. And that means I have 2 Afghans that need to be made this year, and I am in progress on both of them. And this is all of the yarn that I have purchased for those projects. So there is a number of skeins of Red Heart Super Saver. There's 6 of them in the charcoal color. There's 1 in claret. This is the burgundy. And there's 1 in cherry red. And then I have more of this yarn in with the Afghan in progress. And then over here, I have some balls of Red Heart Soft. I'm down to 1 of each. So there's black, charcoal. This one is light gray heather. We have royal blue and navy. So those are the 5 colors I'm using for my other nephews. And then there are a few small balls in here. And apparently, oh, this is from selling things. Dish soap and apron, $5. I can throw that away. And there's some small balls that have come off of the Tides of Change Afghan that I'm working on. So I'm going to actually just go ahead and put this drawer right away the way it is because I am utilizing all of this yarn. I'm keeping it. And for right now, I want to keep it all together because it's just making my life a little bit easier in doing these particular projects. Once I'm finished with these, then I will distribute any yarn I have left over differently. But for right now, it's all just going to stay in the gifting box. Box number 10. What? Okay. Moving along to box number 10, which is not a box at all. It is actually a laundry basket. So I've already gone through 1 laundry basket that was up there that was yarn that had been yarn fairy to me by a friend and viewer in California. This is more yarn from the same person. I talked about it in a previous video, but I'll briefly cover. When I get yarn given to me by other people, I tend to segregate it from my existing stash, because when yarn comes in, even if it does not smell bad, like, in fact, it usually smells good when people give it to me, but it smells like their house, not my house, and when it gets all trapped in the box, I don't like it. So I air it out for a while, and then it migrates into my stash when everything has started to smell like my house. It makes me happy that way. So that is why this yarn was separated, but it can now go into its thing, because I've had it for about a year, and it all is just, it's just stash at this point. So let's take a peek at what's in here. We have some Peyton's Classic Wool Worsted in the color Rosewood. And there's another skein of the Peyton's Classic Wool Worsted. This is in the color Kimono, and I would like to keep both of these. And I will put them in with my other wool stash, so I'm going to set them to the side for right now. We have a skein of Lion Brand Amazing in the color Glacier Bay. That's kind of neat. I could do something with that. I just haven't gotten around to it, so I'll keep that. There is a skein of Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn in the color Songbird Stripe. I really like this one. I keep looking for the right thing to do with it. I don't have the right coordinates, but eventually I will, and it's going to become something good. But it smiles at me regularly and says, figure something out, and I haven't had the right things to make that happen yet, but it will. We have a Sweet Roll in the color Cheesecake Pop, which I will keep. And another skein of I Love This Yarn in the Christmas Metallic. I have made things out of this color before. It's pretty nice, actually, as far as a Christmas goes. And the metallic in this is very soft, and even when you frog it, it stays wound pretty well. The ply doesn't come out, which sometimes with things that have a metallic ply, if you do have to frog, you end up like loosening that ply or breaking it, but this holds up pretty well. Which I guess it's not a good thing that I know that if you frog it, it still looks okay, but it was an early project I did that I had some issues with, so I did a decent amount of frogging of some of the metallic I Love This Yarn. Tell you, midnight, people. Okie dokie. And then we have a Cascade Sierra Quattro. This is Pima Cotton and Wool, 80% Pima Cotton, 20% wool. And of course, it's a Cascade, so it's got a lovely color number, not a name. But it's got this light blue, light pink, and green. This would make a nice, like, summery shawl or something with the cotton and wool combo. Maybe I'll have to do something with that. What's the yardage on this? Oh, let's see, 100 grams, 191 yards. That'd be okay. We'll see. But that will just hang around. Then we have some more cotton yarn to add to my cotton yarn stash. There's some Peaches and Cream in the color Lavender Sachet. Oh, this is the stuff that's supposed to smell. It doesn't smell anymore, and that's fine. I find the idea of the smelly yarn really weird. I don't like that idea, but Sugar and Cream in the color Faded Denim, which looks a lot like the Peaches and Cream in Billowing Blues. Just noting that. And then we have some Sugar and Cream in the color Maud Ombre. I have made stuff out of this color before. People really respond well to this. And it comes across as very like spring and summery and like beachy. And male and female people respond to this well. I've had that at craft shows that everybody seems to like the stuff made out of this. So that is just something to note if you're looking for a good giftable color. The Maud Ombre, it's a winner. So these will actually, I can just open up the drawer right now. I guess it'll go in here. Add it to the cotton yarn. Now we have these two, which when I received them I had no clue what they were, and then the yarn fairy who gave them to me messaged me to tell me that these are supposed to be basically like the scrubby yarn. So I'm going to throw it in with my dishcloth, my other scrubby, and maybe I'll get around to using it. I think it would be kind of cool to use in, like I made those Santa's breeches the other day, and had like the white yarn in the bottom. You could use the scrubby yarn held double with the white, and then you could have like scrubby bottoms to your dishcloths. That's a good idea. So I'm going to add this down with my other dishcloth scrubby. tuck in the ends of my boxes so I don't make a mess. And now we have more baby yarn. So I really do appreciate that I was gifted this yarn. The person was trying to clear out their stash and being kind to me simultaneously, but I think that it's important to remember that people do not give you gifts because they want you to feel bad about something, and they don't want you to hold on to them just because they were gifts. They don't make you happy. And if there are people who feel that way, well then, that's just not a very nice way to feel. So, I have decided that I'm not a big fan at all of baby weight yarn. So, these two for sure are getting added to the box. This one is unlabeled, but this feels like Bernat Softy Baby, which is what this is. Or, yeah, it's got the sheen. And then this one is Bernat Softy Baby in the color Lemon. So these are both going in the tote. Now these, I think, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm going to put them in the tote, but I think there's a good chance that one of the young people who I would like to help learn to crochet, that these would be appealing. So I'm going to just throw those in there too. Into the tote they go, and I have an empty basket! That is so, like, satisfying. So now I'm going to go and find box number 11. Box 11 has an interesting assortment of things. I like a mill-end bag from Joann's, especially when they go on sale for like $3.99, and you can stack a coupon, so you can get a big old bag of yarn for, you know, under $4. It makes for really affordable larger projects if you have enough of yarn that works out. It has also led to me making some really creative projects because I have not had enough yarn, so I've had to like stretch and do things. So let's start with, I guess we'll start with the mill-end yarn, so I was talking about it. So there is this, which is, are any of these open? They are not. It is like, okay, they are. This one's open. I made a shawl out of this last year, and it's like a lace weight in this beautiful, like lavender blue. It is, oh, it's so pretty. It looks so nice against black, actually. I just love it. And I want to do something with this. I haven't decided what. I mean, I have a decent amount. Obviously, I don't know what yarn it is. So I also don't have a really good idea of what kind of yardage I have because I can't do the whole just like weighing it and knowing. But I have considered taking like multiple skeins and holding it double or even triple and doing something with it that way, because if it were thicker, it really would be more useful to me. I love the way it feels actually touching this, holding it. I wonder if I have enough that if I held it double, if I could make myself like a cardigan. Or if I held it triple, if I could. Well, I will have to, I'm definitely keeping this, and I will have to put some thought into that. But I think there's a good chance that this will have to get used. Not individually, because it's just too thin for me to use it individually. And I already have made a really pretty lacy shawl out of the same color. So I don't know that I have another lacy shawl in me out of the same color. But maybe I really like it. But we'll see. But I think that there might be enough here that if I don't do anything else with it, I could make something usable out of it if I held it together. Okay, next up we have some black yarn. And these bags all appear to have the same thing in them. Whoop! And that bag appears to have a hole in the bottom. So, let me show you since this one's open. I have, what, 3, 6, I have 8.5 balls of this bulky, this is like super bulky, black. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I keep trying to kind of decide. I just don't know that, see it, I mean obviously this is the end, but it is not plied super well. I need to go through and actually unwind some of these balls and see. I've been finding lately that a bunch of the mill ends, I mean obviously they're not just the ends, some of them are things that have had issues. So like this is probably not supposed to be these two strands strung together. It's likely supposed to be one strand each or something. Like, I've had a lot that have been misplied. And so I'll start making something thinking it's a thicker yarn than it is, and all of a sudden you get to the second ball and it's wound kind of properly. You're like, oh, well, that's not what I was expecting. So I want to do something with this. It's really soft. It also, though, kind of, I don't know how durable it's going to be the way that it's plied. So I don't know what it's going to become, but it will grow up to be something someday. So this is all going to be kept. I guess I will just slide it back in the bottom of its broken bag just so that I can store it together with its friends a bit more easily. And there's one more mill end bag here. And this, I think I figured out this is a Deborah Norville yarn, maybe. Anyways, it's got these metallic colors, so it's kind of got like a cream, a beige, and then it has like a bronze and a silver color. I made a Clarice top out of this. I really like it. It's nice to work with. It's like a DK weight. It was pleasant, and I would like to make more things out of it. I don't know what would have. Oh, I have an idea. Not for myself, but maybe this would be nice to make a shawl. I'm going to put this into the Christmas box, where I'm putting things that I'd like to make gifts for people out of, because this will be giftable to somebody in my life. So I'm going to add that to the Christmas box. Aha! Christmas box. Had to remember which one was the Christmas box. It's number 4 in case you're going through my stash. So here we have some Caron Simply Soft Party. So I generally do not like Caron Simply Soft. In fact, I have made a rule that I'm getting rid of the Caron Simply Soft in my stash. Except I like the Caron Simply Soft Party, the one with the metallic. This is what I have, like my headphone covers with the ears, if you've seen those. They are made out of this exact yarn, actually. I had originally bought these two when I was doing design work for another website, and I was going to do something at the time. So I would make a prototype in one color, and then I would do a tutorial video in another. So I had these two. I actually bought another skein so that I could do my Celestia crinkle cowl that I made recently was made out of Caron Simply Soft Party, so I would like to make another one of those. And I was going to use some combination of these, but these are definitely staying. I like them. They spark my interest. I just haven't gotten around to actually doing anything with those yet. Now we have some more things that I have because of tutorial videos. This is the Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky. This is in the color Stormy. I made a pair of Croc socks, which are like liners for Croc, like the clogs, out of some of these. So I have this one. Then there's this color, which, let's see. This is Pink Candy. I had made a pair of kid booties that I wrote the pattern for out of these, and then I actually frogged them because this is the one I used for the tutorial, so I only had one booty made out of it, and I didn't really need those booties in my life, so I frogged it, so now I have the yarn. But that means not only do I have this ball of yarn, I have these balls, because these are what actually got frogged out of the booty because of knots and things in the skein. So I have a decent amount of this, which I will be keeping. I'm not a huge fan of this yarn, to be honest. It definitely has its place and its use. It's soft. I know people like it, but I don't know. It's not my favorite texture to work with, but it is, for the kind of yarn that it is, it does things that no other yarn will do. So, I will be keeping all of that. I have some more of the same yarn in the color Berry Burst. This is what I originally made that pattern in, so I have a pair of kid booties in this exact color, which this one is really pretty. It comes out like a really, with the way the kind of tonal pinks and reds are, it reads really, it really does Berry Burst, like a really good combination of raspberry and strawberry, and it's got a nice little something to it. So I do like this color. More so than the others that are a little bit more like spotty looking than variegated. And there's just a little bit of this one, which is actually, I made my mom a pair of Croc socks out of these, which is the, oh, I forget the name now. But anyways, it's like 2 shades of purples, like a silver and a white. So this will grow up to be something someday. It's just kind of hanging out as some like bulky yarn in my stash. And finally, there's this ball of burlap blanket. I had got this to make slippers for my husband, and I've never been happy with them. I think in large part because I'm not a huge fan of this particular yarn, but Steve really likes the burlap blanket. He's been asking for like another sleeping hat since he wears his R2-D2 hat all the time. Maybe I should make him something out of this. I don't know. But it's going to stay around even though it's not my favorite because my husband really likes this yarn. Not this color necessarily. He does like this color. He picked it. But he just likes the texture, and I don't. The chenille texture, I find it hurts my hand to work with it. And I don't know. I think a lot of the things that I have made with it end up looking a little tacky, but I know lots of people like it, so don't be offended. Okay, that's everything in this box, and I think I decided everything in this box I'm keeping. Okay. And that's it for today's Flash My Stash spring cleaning video. Thanks for watching this far. If you know anybody else that would enjoy these sorts of videos or any of my content, can you please let them know the Hooked by Happenstance is a thing? It helps me out bunches. And if you subscribe down below, I will pop up in your subscription box every time I put out one of these or any other yarny videos. I will see you all next time. Bye!